So rebuilding Notre Dame's fire-ravaged reef transports workers back to Middle Ages. So
I love this shot of the guy with the axe. It just warms my heart to see somebody doing it the old way.
Yeah, so this incredibly poorly written article from the Australian Bullshit Corporation says if time travel was possible, medieval carpenters would surely be amazed to see how woodworking techniques they No, shut up, fuck off. They wouldn't to be terribly amazed by it. Blah, 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 blah. So working with the hand axes to fashion hundreds of tons of oak beams for the framework of Notre Dame's new roof has for them been like rewinding time. It's given them a new appreciation of their predecessors' handiwork that pushed the architectural envelope back in the 13th century. So the hand tools to rebuild the roof that flames turned into ashes in 2019 is a deliberate, considered choice, especially since power tools would undoubtedly have done the work. And yeah, no shit. Also, that's a pretty impressive fucking beam that guy's staying next to. If it's being done with hand tools.
No, having done some of this work myself in the past, it's exhausting, but you actually, if done right, and it looks like they are doing it right, it's an amazing piece of work.
Well,
especially if you're doing a restoration.
You also don't have to take the saw marks out of every fucking millimeter with half an hour of sanding.
Yeah.
So they say that the aim is to pay tribute to the same craftsmanship of the cathedral's original builders and to ensure that the centuries-old art of hand fashioning wood lives on. We want to restore this cathedral as it was in the beautiful Middle Ages, some bloody Frenchman says.
Jean-Louis Jogelon.
French Army General. So a professional coward. And it's a way to be faithful to the handiwork of all the people who built all the extraordinary monuments in France. Well, as long as they're not
for a Frenchman.
Well, you get the occasional ones. Yeah, they didn't all die at Verdun.
So facing a tight deadline to reopen the cathedral by December 2024, carpenters and architects are also using computer design and other modern technologies to speed up the reconstruction. The fuck do you need any of that for? They did it by hand, the fucking old way. All it's telling me is that architects have gotten dumber.
Yeah, they've stopped being able to do math.
Oh, but it's architecturally beautiful, but there's no storage.
Yeah. Well, that's why structural engineers exist, to slap the architect.
Yeah. But not hard enough, sadly.
Well, they need to go down to the carpentry department and acquire a hammer. Then again, depending on the type of carpentry, if they're traditional carpenters, you should be able to find a hammer in the workshop.
I mean, personally, I think an adze would be better.
Yes.
An adze would be a better choice, but you'd be far more likely to find a mallet than a hammer.
Yes. What else do we have? Blah, blah, blah. Computers, no, don't care. In May, the roof reconstruction
They have to bring Americans in to fix this.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Have American for supervisor.
Well, there's probably a bigger traditional woodworking sphere in America than there is in bloody France.
Actually, yeah, because we still, especially when he's talking about Grand Marais, Minnesota, they still do a lot of like old structural restorations, and you've got homes. Yeah, they're new from like the 1850s, but it's still much more common there.
And look at all this violent cheating with 12-foot long clamps. In May, roof reconstruction hit an important milestone when large parts of the new timber frame were assembled and erected at a workshop in the Loire Valley in western France. The dry run assured architects that the frame was fit for purpose. The next time it is put together will be atop the cathedral. That looks awfully small.
I mean, that has to be like 1/100th of it.
Yeah, that's a very small section from the look of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking more the width of it. I could, then again, maybe that's probably just the center section, and then there's all this, but I would have thought it would be wider than that. But mate. Oh, well, maybe if they don't fuck it up on my glorious road trip through Europe, I'll swing by.
I think the thing is, this is just the roof peak. And then you've got to account for all the extra load bearing that spreads out from that.
Ah, true. Unlike in medieval times, it'll be trucking past. Yeah, no shit. They didn't have trucks in medieval times. And lifted by a mechanical crane into position. Some 1,200 trees have been felled for the work. Oh, good. That'll piss off the greenies.
Whatever makes the greenies suffer makes me happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Suffering greenies.
Okay, so yeah, they are using oak with this. That's good. Is that my fear was they were going to use some inferior wood when it needs. Granted, it needs to be European oak, so I don't know if, where they're sourcing anything, but still.
The objective they had was to restore it to its original
Hopefully they
condition.
went out of their way to get some sort of special permit to knock down trees that are old enough to actually be dense enough for what they need.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
But hopefully, because of the sheer length they need, they didn't have a choice in the matter.
Hey, do you want to know why you need European oak for it to burn better? Because Europeans are more flammable. Just
What?
look at history.
Where the fuck is that soundboard when you need it?
Come on, do it. You know you want to. Do it.
Oh, I can't find the fucking thing.
How can you not
Do it.
find this soundboard function?
Maybe because it got yeeted. I don't know.
Sadness. Sadness.
We
Eric
just
came
need
with
a sad
came with a
head trombone.
Eric came with a perfectly bad joke, and you don't even come with the sound effect. Okay, that's a good second. That's a good second. I'll accept that.
Oh, Lord.
Wood frog. Oh, God.
Peepers, yes. We need to send peepers to Europe.
A peeping Tom or a peeping Jane?
No. It's a Appalachian term for tree frogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The more you know.
And Disco has found her keyboard underneath her belly.
Woo!
And she's removed her belly and George from the keyboard. This story, Disco, is that they are using traditional woodworking techniques to rebuild Notre Dame instead of just being shits and using chainsaws. So as they say, we have exactly the same material. Like, we have the same tools with the same axes that we used, exactly the same tools. I don't think he knows what exactly means. We have the same know-how, and soon it will return to its same place. It is, he added, a real resurrection.
My guess is there's a translation problem there.
Possibly. Quite possibly. But it is very good to see them using the traditional techniques.
Nice.
It's really nice to see them doing the traditional stuff, for sure.
Though it is funny that they have to get an American in. Then again, Americans are still building log cabins and things to this day. So while some of the fancy woodwork bullshit might have survived in France, I know for a fact that Americans are still building shit straight out of logs and things, so yeah, interesting. If you enjoyed this segment from the Sons of Chardonnay podcast, please consider joining us live exclusively on rumble.com/c/Sons of Chardonnay. A special thanks to our subscribe star supporters who you can currently see scrolling past on your screen.